I saw two bright lights at 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed.
Welcome to the worst nightmare of all. Reality.
Explore the lesser-known stories of our unknown world. Join the pursuit of the paranormal with Ash and Greg.
Welcome to the first episode of Ash's UFO Files with me, Ash Ellis, where every so often I'm going to look at a particular interesting UFO case that I've investigated, that I've looked at, and sort of give a bit of detail into these reports and our conclusions onto what we thought they are or what was seen. So for this first one, I'm going to be looking at a pretty famous at the time case from Ireland in 2018 involving a couple of airline pilots. So without any ado, let's get going. It was a nice quiet Friday morning on the 9th of November 2018. That was until a number of airline pilots saw strange glowing lights near to their aircraft travelling at astronomical speeds. The first report came from a British Airways pilot who was travelling from Canada to Heathrow, who initially asked air traffic control at the nearby Shannon airport if there were any military exercises in the area. It was confirmed that there weren't, and this pilot then reported seeing these strange lights near to her aircraft. Other airline pilots in the area then came onto the frequency reporting the same thing. What were they? Were they something alien, or is it something a bit more mundane? I'm going to talk about a possible video of this sighting, which I managed to find, as well as listen to the conversation between the pilot and the air traffic controller and the other pilots. This incident was picked up initially by the Irish media, making the papers over the next couple of days. It then got picked up by the mainstream media over here in the UK, who all did a report about it, and eventually it was picked up by the US media across the Atlantic. Obviously, a couple of days later, as always happens to these incidents, they disappear from the media and they're never heard from again, because more important things take priority. The UFO UAP industry has always had a bit of a mixed relationship with the mainstream media, who historically have seen it as a bit more of a joke, clickbait headlines, little green men from Mars, stuff like that, with no actual journalism or follow-ups into when they report these incidents. There has been a bit of a cultural shift, I think, over the past couple of years, with everything that's going on with the US government and these programs and these whistleblowers. So hopefully we're seeing a change in these attitudes that's going forward, and we'll see some proper actual journalism in the mainstream media and follow-ups rather than just one and done type stories. So let's just have a listen to the recording between the pilots and the air traffic controller.
Shannon, very good morning, Ryanair 45 Foxtrot Hotel with you. Climate flight level 310 with direct Everett.
Ryanair 45 Foxtrot Hotel, Shannon, hello, radar contact.
Shannon Virgin 76 X-ray flight level 360.
76 X-ray, Shannon, hello, radar contact.
Shannon, Ryanair 45 Foxtrot Hotel. Any turbulence reports this morning?
Negative, sir, not along your route.
Great, thank you.
Shannon, Sleeper 94.
Go ahead.
Is there any military traffic you've got right now?
There's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact, you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
Alongside you?
Get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. We saw bright light and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering. We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we were just wondering what that could have been.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Say again?
Virgin 76. I saw two bright lights at 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Okay, we're passing that on there, thank you.
Meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. Appeared to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. Very bright from where we were.
Okay, that's copied.
Glad it wasn't just me.
No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
Speedbird 94, Shannon.
94, go ahead.
Okay, just so you know that other aircraft in the air have also reported the same thing, so we're going to have a look and see.
The speed was astronomical. It's like Mach 2 or something.
Roger, okay, thank you.
As we can hear, there are at least 3 different aircraft and multiple highly trained pilots that saw these objects and reported it to the air traffic controllers. Unbeknownst to these pilots and the air traffic controllers, down on the ground, a citizen by the name of Sandy Laverty was making her usual commute to work in Coleraine when her car's dash cam caught a video of 2 very bright lights pretty high up and seem to be travelling at a fast speed, and we see them pass behind the tree line, so we know that they are definitely in the sky. And this was at exactly the same time from the dash cam's recording and from the time that this was reported to the air traffic controllers. This was at the exact same time that the pilot saw these strange lights near to their aircraft. I will point out that Coleraine is around 190 miles away from Shannon Airport up towards the north. Now, these could not be related at all, but we just cannot ignore the fact that it was recorded at the exact same time and seemed very similar to what they were reporting. As the pilots reported seeing them in their airspace, and it's hard to tell how fast something's going and how far away they are and how big they are when they're high up in the night sky. So, what are these objects? As one of the pilots from the Virgin Atlantic flight mentioned, could be a meteor or other space objects making re-entry. So let's just have a look at these hypotheses. First of all, meteor. So a meteor is a rock that comes from space. As it makes its way through the atmosphere, they usually vaporise in a trail of fiery light, a shooting star as we see them mostly. So could it have been a meteor or some other space debris kind of burning up as they enter the atmosphere? According to the Times newspaper in the UK, the head of Astronomy Ireland, David Moore, is 1000% sure that these are just meteors. But before we come to the same conclusion, I want to just revisit the audio transcript between the pilots and the air traffic controllers at Shannon Airport. Let's take another listen to what the pilots who saw it actually said.
To come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright light and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering.
I saw 2 bright lights at 11 o'clock seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective. Back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
So banking away to the right and climbing at speed, and the other pilot said it veered off to the north. That doesn't sound very much like meteors burning up in the atmosphere to me. And remember, these are obviously pilots, these are highly trained professional people, and they're used to seeing all sorts of different objects and anomalies in the sky. I mean, these manoeuvres that they're describing, veering to the north, banking, that's not a meteor. So, what else could it be? There's no military exercises in the area, unless there's something covert going on at the time, some kind of secret training or exercise. We can kind of rule that out as well. A more paranormal explanation could be ball lightning. These are very rare atmospheric happenings, usually caused by thunderstorms. They've been described as being luminescent, bright balls of light that can travel erratically and at some speed. However, these usually occur during thunderstorms, and the weather on that day was overcast but dry, and there is still some debate over whether ball lightning actually exists, although there are plenty of reports of people seeing it, and the descriptions of the movements could match. So let's keep that as a maybe. for now, because like I say, there has been hundreds of reports going back many, many years that this phenomena does exist, even if scientists aren't convinced. Drones, they've risen in popularity over the past few years, and have also been a reason for an increase in UFO reports and a nuisance to airports. However, even small drones show up on radar, so the air traffic controllers would have picked them up if they were nearby. Also, to our knowledge, they cannot travel at the speeds described by the pilots, so I'm going to keep that as a no as well. So far, I've been unable to find any official explanation or results of any investigation made. You hear the air traffic controllers saying that they passed it on. They passed these reports on, we don't know who to. I've made attempts to correspond with both the Irish Air Authority and the Irish Department of Defence, but neither have been forthcoming with any type of information so far. So apart from the witness testimony, these audio transcripts and the desk cam recording we got from the witness in Northern Ireland, which I'll put the video of that on to our social medias, so you can have a bit of a look at that. There's no evidence to be able to say with any certainty what these actually were. So for me, this case remains unidentified. I do not believe it's a meteor due to descriptions made by the pilots, so I'm going to leave it at that for me. Make your own decisions. Let me know what you think of the audio transcripts, what you think this could be, any other kind of ideas that we could look at which could explain this. Yeah, let me know. And thank you for listening to episode 1 of Ash's UFO Files. Have a good evening.
Pursuit of the Paranormal with Ash and Greg.